All right, get the hair going. Lights, camera, action. Let's go. Hey everybody. Today we're gonna do a slider up base parachute pack job. This is for my wingsuit jumps, my super tall cliffs. This is my pack job. It's not for everybody. Everybody has a different style, but thought I would take you along for the ride. We are in beautiful Malibu, California, with the ocean in the background. Conditions are great. I wish I could jump here. It would be fantastic, but let's get started. All right, so first things first, let's talk about my setup. I have a slider on, and this is different from the slider off video I did because this one is going to slow the opening, right? Couple subtle differences. One, we have a slider brake on. I have a small one on. You can also get a large one, but usually for wingsuit you have a small one or none. That's totally fine too. Second up, very important, is the pilot chute. This is a much smaller pilot chute than the slider off one in my previous video, so this is a 38 instead of a 42. Personal preference, you can get smaller or bigger depending on what you want. But for this wingsuit jump, that's what I have. And we also have our brake toggles through the rings. Now, this is the American style. I believe European style for slider up, they have them outside of the rings. Everybody's different. But we'll start there. So, let's do our control line checks and get going here. I'm gonna run my fingers up. Give it a nice little shake. And then we'll walk through, make sure all of our lines are separated properly. 1, 2, and 3. Same for this side. Last thing we'd want is for lines to be over each other. Nice. 2 and 3. Cool. Now we're gonna bring the slider down so that we can get it ready for a flat pack job. All right. And then I am going to clamp my risers together so that we have equal length in the lines at all times. Just like that. And then first things first, I'm gonna get my back riser lines as well as my control lines in one hand, my front risers in the other, and we are going to fold this out into a nice flat parachute pack job. Here we go. Boom. Okay. We're gonna separate the control lines here so that everything is laid out nice and flat. Oh, that's looking good already. I'm gonna grab my handy dandy clamps here and we're gonna get started. So for the most part, it's a very similar pack job, at least for me. For slider off and slider up, the main difference is when we actually work with the slider and putting it up. So you'll see the majority is the same, but subtle differences, as I said. All right, so let's start doing our 7 checks here for each of them. 1, 2, 3. Where's that guy? 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so we have 7 cells, so I'm always making sure I have 7 tabs for each time I run my flakes. And we're gonna move it on over. Super clean. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Clamp. Move it on over. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. So we got our first 3 done on all of the tabs. I'm gonna bring it back over so we go to the nose cell. And if you notice, I keep the lines that I'm working with directly straight with the rig. That's because everything is nice and symmetrical, keeping it super organized. So now I'm gonna go through and make sure I have all my cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, something went wrong there. So now I'm gonna redo it, and this is why. And so making sure I have the bottom here. 1, 2, 3. Hey, look at that. See, the 4 was hidden there. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now it's looking good. And I can go throw a clamp on there. Boom. Okay. 2, 3. Put that to the side. Put the 4th in the middle. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to get into doing our flakes. So we're going to take each piece. I'm going to bring it on over. Give it a nice little flap flap for each side. Number 2, flap flap. And number 3. 2, boom. Cool. And then we're gonna go do a nice little fold here. Just doing a little bit more organization on each side. Bring our tail over to the other side. And everything is symmetrical, right? So if we're doing something to one side, we're gonna do it to the other. Make sure everything is folding out super nice. And we're gonna get the middle of the tail and put that out right in the middle. Cool. So things are starting to shape up. I'm gonna bring this out to the side a little bit. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to do our flakes. So I do a 2-step process for my flakes. First of all, I just do some housekeeping, getting the material on the side that it needs to be on. I do that for both sides, right? Okay. Now I'm gonna tighten it up a little bit. We always want the lines to be nice and tight. So I'm always kind of giving it tension. Okay, and now maybe I'll pull this back a little bit, keep tension on both sides. And now we're gonna go into the flakes. So what I just did was grab here, and we're gonna go to the bottom. I'm gonna step right down. We're gonna do a nice flake process. 1, 2, and I'm kind of nicely just folding the material on top of each other, making sure it sits perfect and symmetrical and right in the middle. But you can see there's some material that kind of needs to be folded out each time, and that's okay. That's why we do this. Boom. So we got one side down. It's looking super nice. The lines are nice on top of each other. Let's go to the other side. Okay, so I'm taking my hand right in. Just a little bit of caress, a little bit of caressing, a little bit of love, a little bit of devotion. All the things you want for a nice parachute opening. Cool. So what we just did is flake it out. Now I can see all the lines were sitting on top of each other nicely. There's no line overs, and that makes me feel really good. Next thing we're gonna do is start working our control lines. So I'm gonna bring these guys over, fold that down, and bing, bang, boom. And let's start with our right one. Every single base jump, because we only have one parachute, I like to make sure my lines are not twisted by any means. So I start from the top of the tail and just make sure the brake line is nice and untwisted by any chance or means. And it's looking good. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to our short brake line, right? So it's a little bit different than the slider off video I showed you because we were using the deep brakes, but this is the shallow brake setting. And at least for me, that's what I do for my slider up jumps because I'm usually pulling away from the cliff. So we want some forward momentum as it opens. Again, everybody's different. I know some crazy people do deep settings on their slider up jumps. I would never do that. I don't know, kind of gnarly, but to each their own. All right, so we're gonna get this guy seated and sorted. Make sure that's nicely seated, it's through the ring. Boom, we got one side down. And we're gonna make our way to the other side. Okay. So I'm just grabbing all of the control lines from the tail, splitting it up, and then running my hand down, making sure there are no twists in the lines. Okay, and we're gonna go to that shallow brake setting again. Put that guy right through. And cinch it right up there. Seat it on the Velcro. And pocket the excess. Beauty. Okay, that's nice and locked in. Looking good. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on folding the tail in its reduction folds. So I'm gonna take the tail, throw it to one side, and I'm gonna just bring my arms down here, give it a nice little caress, get all the air out, and we're gonna start folding it over each other. So this is for one side, and we're gonna take the tabs on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. All right. Just making it nice and organized. Okay, so we got one side down, flatten it out, and I'm gonna now start the other side. I'm just gonna organize this a little bit, get a lot of this fabric over here so that we can now work the other side. And I always like going to the side that I'm working. Some people do it both from one side to save time, but you know what? Time does not matter when you're trying to make it perfect. So, and I want it perfect every time. All right, bring that down, and let's start with our reduction folds. A little bit of wind coming up right now, which makes it kind of hard to pack, but it's okay. So you can see we're really just, we're getting this to a packed place where everything comes out in order, right? It all folds out in order. Nothing's going out of order. It makes me feel really good when I pack this, knowing I can visualize how it's probably going to come out. I mean, of course, there's so many variables, but in my mind, I feel good about this so far. Okay. So we're going to get the other side here. Nice. And now what you see is we have this nicely flaked out, all put on top of each other with the reduction folds, and we can keep going here. So this is where it gets a little bit different, because now we're gonna bring this slider all the way up into the top of the parachute. And it's a little travel just like that. And what I do is I kind of prep this, because this is a 6 grommet slider from Squirrel, place these right on top of each other, and then as it opens, it'll open out really nicely like that with the control lines and the back riser lines. So I'm gonna shoot this up, make sure the grommets are coming right up to the tabs, right? You don't want any space there. And then I'm just gonna fold this out nicely, put it right on top of each other. Make sure in between this is folded nicely. Everything done with as much precision as possible. All right, we're just getting this slider up. Cool, that's looking good. Some people fold this like that, but I keep it just like that, knowing that it'll flap out right when it's opening. All right, cool. Up to the next part. So now we've kind of got everything flaked out. We're gonna get rid of our clamps for a moment here. 1, 2, give it a little tug every time. 3, 4. And we're gonna bring our tail on over and down over the slider. Boom. And then we're going to do some more reduction folds here with the tail. This takes a little bit of finesse, kind of just over time. I get the tail sides here and just do a nice little fold on both sides. You can kind of see how I'm turning it into a little hot dog shape. And we're gonna lay on it, flatten it down. Oh yeah, oh, I could lay here all day. Boom. Start bringing out this main cell to wrap around the others. And again, we're just continuing to reduce. It's like reduce, reuse, recycle, but this is reduce. Okay. And we'll just get it one more time. And this is looking good. So, very symmetrical. Now we're going to bring the sides on top and over. So I make sure I have 3, 1, 2, 3 in this case, because it's the 7 cell, and a nice little fold just like that. Boom. And you can see very clean. This gets me very excited. And I'm gonna put one clamp right at the top here. All right, let's do that for the other side. 1, 2, 3. And fold that over. Boom. Super nice. And what I really like seeing here is that these tabs are aligned, right? Both of the squirrel logos, and it's different for every canopy, but both of the squirrel logos are right next to each other. Everything just feels very aligned right now, which is great news. So again, throw this guy up here. Now, I saw this in a YouTube video that I was watching. Somebody folded these tails in like this at a 90-degree angle, kind of giving like a triangle. They said it helps slow the opening. So I do it, you know, once again, it's different for everybody, but I do it and I've had good openings so far, so I'm not gonna change my process. If it's not broken, you don't necessarily need to fix it. That's looking good. Cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start bringing the rig towards here. We're gonna coil up the rope, not the rope, all the lines, and get going. So I'm gonna sit right on top here, get that nice and flat. I'm gonna look at the sky. Oh, hello sky, so pretty. And we're gonna start coiling. So I'm gonna open my tail pocket. Boom. And we're gonna start with those control lines right up top here. And our main lines. I like to keep the control lines on top, just extra organization, you know, different preference. And we're gonna do our first bite. And the first bite, kind of like that, a little bit of maybe finger length for our main stow. I double stow per Squirrel's recommendation, and then put that into the main stow pocket. Okay. Trying to be nice and clean here overall. Yeah, and this is looking good. So now we're gonna start going into our coil. So first coil, boom. And I kind of do like a U shape because I try to keep the lines from ever having to twist, right? So we're just gonna do some figure eights. And as we're doing our figure eights, they get a little bit smaller and I stagger them a little bit forward, right? So they sit on top, and the way this would come out is exactly how they're being laid. Okay, get that right in the middle. Now we're going to close this tail pocket up, making sure that the Velcro does not get on top of any of the lines. Try to do it all around. Once again, all around. And the front ones. Okay. And the front side on this side. Cool. And then you can kind of put your finger in on the side here, check, just to make sure none of the lines got attached onto the Velcro, which they did not. So now I'm going to take this clamp off because we can start prepping this to put it into the rig. I kind of lay each side out. As you can see, once again, nice and symmetrical. That doesn't need to be there because that's for slider off, but I just tuck it in, make it nice. So yeah, this looks pretty good. I feel good about it. And now we can go to probably the most fun part, and by most fun I'm being completely sarcastic, is actually trying to get it nicely onto the rig. I'm really bad at this part every time, but I'm gonna prep my my pull-up cord here, and you'll notice that I have my top one in the faceplate. This is usually recommended for slider up, any forward movement. It keeps the rig closed a little bit tighter than if you were putting it in this top flap, which is what a lot of people do for slider off. So, got this nice and seated, ready to go here. I'm just gonna organize that a little bit more. Yep, press this all down and do our best attempt of getting this onto the rig here. So I'm gonna grab the tail pocket. I'm gonna lift this guy up here. Get my arms through, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, yeah, okay. You can see some stuff moved a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna do some massaging, make sure everything is looking good again. Gotta get the tail here. Yep. So we're just continuing to make sure that the pack job isn't getting moved around too much. I'm gonna check for the risers down below here, which you can see. This one is nicely coming down like we want it to. Go to the other side. Yep, same thing here. Both sitting right on top of each other. Super nice. All right, so that actually worked out better than anticipated, which is really exciting. Cool. So now we are going to bring our S-folds on. So for our first fold, it's going to be this top fold. And I'm estimating kind of right here is where my top plate is. You can see the crease that I have. So I usually give a nice little karate chop, then grab my S-fold piece here and 1, 2, boom, just like that. Just trying not to move too much of it around. Now just doing some massaging again, right? You can see, I mean, we're working with parachute material, right? So things are just gonna start to come out if you don't keep them nice and tight. So just gonna fold this down a little bit. And now we're gonna prep our nose. So to prep our nose, this is the method I do. I go 1 by 1 for each cell. 1, 2, 3. And then that's the left side here, right? So I'm gonna do some nice little folds, reduction folds. 1, 2, 3. And clamp that guy down. Or girl, it could be a girl too. We're gonna do the other side. One. And what I really like is having the tabs coming out right from the middle. It's very straight, right? So 1, laying right on top of each other. 2, 3. And we're gonna get those reduction folds down again. Fold over itself. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Okay. Now we're gonna prep the center cell. I mean, this is very important, right? Because you want this being on heading which means the parachute's gonna come out and open straight. So what I like to do is wrap it around those outside cells, right? So that when this opens, this is the first thing catching air inflation. Okay, so that's super nice. Take any additional air out, and now we're gonna fold this back on top of itself again. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom. Beauty. Okay, do some massaging again. Make sure we get our bridle out of the way. That'll be very important in a bit here. Okay. So I'm just, you know, making sure it's looking good, feeling good. And we're gonna now get our first flap up and ready. So I'm gonna take the clamp out. This flap is gonna come right over. I'm gonna put my knee there just to keep it braced. And we're gonna do the same for this side. Right, so what I really like seeing is that these flaps are able to come up equally. We're keeping everything very, very equalized. Now we're gonna fold some of this excess down and over the top here. And I'm gonna bring this bridle right in the middle, right? So that we can then bring our pull-up cord with that piece right there. Yep, so that'll come right through. Feeling good. We'll get to the next step. Now, for squirrel rigs, we do top flap, right flap, left flap. It's different, especially if you have like an Apex rig or a different one like that. So please check with the manufacturer before you do your closing. So now for our closing, everything's looking good. I'm gonna now start to pull all this through. Do a little massaging here in a minute, right? And the most important thing is that your top pin, the bridle is coming out below a lot of this grommet work because you don't want it coming out and above. And I'll show you that when we do our safety checks after we get a lot of this packed over. Okay, so I've got the left, the right here. I've got the top and the right. Now let's do the left. What are all these little bugs? You don't want to be in there. You're gonna be opening 500 feet above the ground in a different place. All right, so this is taking a little bit massaging here. It's all a part of the game. It's a lot of fun. That was sarcastic as well. It's actually a pain in the butt to do this. Okay, and boom, there it is. So now I'm gonna take my top pin. I'm gonna bring that guy right through, or girl. And then I'm gonna take this out, try to get it under the pin so that it doesn't ruin the closing loop. Boom. Nice. So now we got our top pin seated. Again, squirrel recommendation on squirrel rigs is that the pin is a face to the right. That's how I do it. It's different for everybody. Some people like it like that. Some people will prime it. So again, this is just how I'm doing it. All right, let's get the bottom set up here. And this is starting to look real nice. It's getting me very excited to go jump. Okay, we're gonna take our closing loop. And we're gonna start at the bottom and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go to the right one first. Okay, get that tab situated. Massage the material again. Okay, get that right through. Boom, boom, boom. Starting to look good. Okay. Look at my shadow. Hey. Okay. And it's gonna get us fully closed up. The most important part here is that this bottom pin is coming very cleanly from that top pin, right? So I'm gonna put this through. Take this thread out. And now what we can see here is this top pin, the bridle is coming out through the middle, as we like to say. It's seated, has its proper form, and then has its tab going down to the bottom, and the bottom is free and clear. So I'm gonna bring this over, And this is not wrapped up and around by any means, and we're gonna go through that as well. So I'm gonna close the main flap here, close the top flap. I'm gonna bring it up and over, put the fabric on top of the material so that it hides the risers. Boom, give it a nice little press. And that is how you pack a slider up base rig, or at least how I pack it. And then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go do the pilot chute. So the most important part about the pilot chute, again, is that for this bottom pin, you are not wrapping it around the pin, right? It should be free and clear so that you are able to do a nice fold here and organize some of the bridle into the rig right under. And right, it's gonna pull right out, boom, 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 coming right out from here. Okay, so I'm going to take the rest of this bridle. We're gonna do a nice control, nice, it inflates. Safety checks, right? Tons of safety checks, and everything is looking good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this guy down right here, boom, and fold some of that mesh on top of each other so that we can start reducing the bridle right on top. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, looking good. I'm gonna leave a little bit excess, right? Because then we're gonna stow it in there. I'm gonna put this mesh right on top, and then we're gonna fold this over. I'm gonna grab the top of that bite and bring it right in here. Do a little fold here. Then we're gonna put this in. Yeah, heck yeah. And now we are good to go. We have a little bit of excess here. Drop that right back. But everything is looking super clean. Gosh, I wish I could just go jump right now. This would be fantastic. But it's all good. Grab my tools, make sure none of the tools got in the rig, right? So I have my clamps, I have my packing tool. Things are good. Boom. All right. So that was pretty good, pretty awesome. And you'll see the next jump with this pack job. Can't wait to show you guys, and thanks for watching as always. Really appreciate you all. Till next time, goodbye from Malibu, and hello from wherever I jump next. See you later.